Everyone, and thank you for your time on a busy weekend away from your normal activities. This is I believe, the fourth open house meeting we've had for the International FOXP1 Foundation over the years, and I'm excited to share with you, or we're excited to share with you, an update about all the things that we as a community and the foundation accomplished in 2025, and also to look forward to the exciting things coming up in 2026 and 2027 and beyond. I think with that, Brandy, could you go to the next slide?
Absolutely.
Okay, so just a little bit about the foundation for some of the newer folks who have come into the FOXP1 community who may not have met any of us or learned that much about the foundation. We have been in existence for about 5 years, and I'll go into our history a little bit on the next slide. And throughout those 5 years, the foundation has been managed by parent volunteers. All of us are parents of an individual with FOXP1 syndrome. And our mission throughout and our inspiration for creating the foundation in the first place was to help foster community building among families around the world managing FOXP1 syndrome and their loved ones growing up. So we have a mission, we have a vision that's kind of aligned with that general reason for existence. And the mission is really to help build that global community to empower and support families in their journey with FOXP1 syndrome with their individuals by sharing knowledge, inspiring hope, supporting research programs, and raising general awareness about the syndrome. And we have a vision that through this work, through these efforts, through this community building, we will help our loved ones with FOXP1 syndrome reach their fullest potential to lead a happy, productive, and rewarding life. So that's what guides us in our planning and our strategy, and our execution, and in our communications and services that we try to give to the community. Next slide, Brandy. All right, so a little bit more about the history of the organization. FOXP1 syndrome itself is a fairly new disorder, so to speak. It was discovered and described first in 2009 with some isolated clinical case reports in the literature. My family was among one of the earlier ones whose child was diagnosed, I guess, in about 2013. At the time, there were only a handful of case reports of individuals with FOXP1 syndrome. Our experience, very similar to many other parents. We didn't know anything about the syndrome. We didn't know anything about our child's future, had no one to talk to. We felt like we were in a little island of ignorance, and we needed knowledge, connection, support, and community. We were not the only one, but through those early diagnosed families, we were able to start building some online communities, first with a platform called Rare Connect, which is hosted by basically the regional rare disease organization in Europe. And that was a great way to start connecting with individuals around the world. And that carried us through till about 2018 or so. In parallel, Facebook was growing in penetration around the world. And so a Facebook community for FOXP1 was developed. It grew explosively. We eventually retired the Rare Connect platform because Facebook was just much easier to connect with people, and it was pretty vibrant. So that's where, as many of you know, a lot of connections have been happening between parents. Now, through that same time frame, parents in France got organized and had the first in-person meeting of families with FOXP1 syndrome. And it was very inspirational to see that, to hear the reports about that and the fellowship that people felt by actually spending time with other parents having the same experiences and such rare experiences. So that led ultimately through a research collaboration that we had developed with researchers at the Seaver Autism Center at Mount Sinai to plan and execute a larger in-person conference in 2019 in New York City. And we had attendees from around the world. It was about 50 people or 60 people, and it was fantastic. And that generated enough momentum to eventually collect the people who founded the foundation. And we did that in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. We got all our legal paperwork stateside to become a real thing, the International FOXP1 Foundation. And then we got a tax advantage status in the US in March of 2021. And we were off to the races. So counting from 2021, that's kind of why we had these open houses in March each year. That's just a thumbnail sketch of the organization. In those 5 years, we've grown immensely. We've added lots of programs, tons of new membership as the Community has exploded in size from 30, 50, 100, now several hundred, maybe up to 900 known individuals around the world. So, for those that have been part of the community for those 5 years, thank you for riding along with us. And for those whose children are more recently diagnosed, welcome to the community. Brandy, with that, I'm going to hand it to you. But before I do, I want to introduce Brandy. So Brandy is not a parent of a FOXP1 syndrome individual. She is our executive director, an incredibly important part of the management of the foundation. She is our first paid employee. We brought her on in June of last year, shortly before the family meeting in the Netherlands, which she was able to attend by coincidence from her prior career work before joining the FOXP1 Foundation. That prior career work includes over 15 years of professional experience, including lots of time spent in the nonprofit space, leading programs, building partnerships, and securing resources for mission-driven organizations. More recently, in the past 6 years or so, she is focused on serving nonprofit communities in the rare disease space, like ours. That was part of what attracted us during the recruiting process to her background and her personality. She brings with it a lot of energy, experience, and good, whatever, street smarts in the nonprofit world. She brings that to the foundation to our great benefit. She's hit the ground running. She's been helping guide the foundation through a period of pretty significant growth, both in terms of what we do and how many people we serve and the number of people on the board even. So there's a lot of logistical and administrative stuff that she's been helping us build out to professionalize our organization. She's focused on helping us expand our programs and do what is needed to support the community, strengthen partnerships between FOXP1 community and other rare disease communities, and generally creating new opportunities for the foundation and the community that we serve. So Brandy, welcome. I've been saying welcome for 9 months, but anyway, welcome to the speaking platform here. I'm going to hand off to you and you can take the next slide.
Thank you so much, Carl. I'm so excited to be with you all today for my first 2026 open house and looking forward to getting to meet even more families that I've not already connected with. But since joining the foundation in June, I've had the opportunity to connect with many families. And as Carl mentioned, I was able to attend the family conference in the Netherlands and being able to meet the kiddos in person and hear the stories and the incredible experiences of the families being diagnosed has been really rewarding, especially stepping into a new role as the organization's first executive director. So I want to thank each of you for being so warm and welcoming. It's also been excited to see the growth of the foundation. As the community expands, the work expands, and we're continuing to build programs, strengthen partnerships, and as Carl shared, create new opportunities to support families while also advancing research and awareness. So, of course, none of this work would be possible without the dedicated group of volunteer leaders who are our board of directors. And so I'm excited to share a little bit about our board of directors and welcome some new members. Of course, you already had the opportunity to meet Carl, who is our co-founder and co-president. Cheryl is our co-president. Kate Mowry is our vice president. Chris Sullivan is our secretary. We're excited to welcome Emeka Britz as a member at large, Gail Clark, who's a member at large, Adam Geller, who also helped to co-found the FOXP1 Foundation and is a member at large, Lorenza, Claire, and Eric. So Claire joined last year. She joined the foundation shortly before I did. And then we're also welcoming Lorenza and Eric, which you'll meet here in just a few moments. And so without further ado, let me turn it over to Emeka to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. As Brandon mentioned, thank you. My name is Emeka Brits. I am situated in South Africa, so nice and warm here at the moment. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I have a little boy who has, it feels like recently, but about last year this time, he was diagnosed with FOXP1 syndrome, and we as a family are passionate about keeping on living a very full life despite our son having FOXP1 syndrome, and we're doing everything to support him, but then also to keep on managing our own lives and living in a country like South Africa where the public health care is horrendous. I think puts a little bit of a different view on the board in terms of someone who needs to work with private healthcare. For example, I just had to go through a whole application process to get additional funds for my little boy because FOXP1 isn't recognized, obviously, in South Africa or genetic disorders in general are not recognized for additional benefits. What I hope to add to the board is I've got a background in engineering and management, and then a very analytical and business focused career path, looking at strategy. And what I would like to add is helping the other team members in making research understandable and accessible. I know it doesn't always make sense to people, to everyone, what research means and the end goal with it. I sometimes struggle to understand, okay, we did this research in mice. What on earth does that mean for Kian? And then also supporting understanding on the strategic goals that we have. So some of the strategic goals are long term and they might not have an impact for any of us and our children in this lifetime. But for FOXP1 in general, in the long term, it might have a big impact, and balancing those with things that might actually impact our little ones. So research and therapy and those type of things. Yeah, and then just supporting Brandy in anything operational as and when required, and also leveraging some of the resources here in South Africa for the foundation. And that's me.
Thank you so much, Emeka. It's been wonderful to get to know you more, and we're so thrilled to have you on the board of directors. I'd like
Cool.
now,
Thanks, Brandy.
thank you. Thank you, Emeka. I would now like to introduce Lorenza.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lorenza. I am Italian, but I've been living in Barcelona for the past 22 years. I have two kids. Elva is 10 and Bruno is 7 years old. He's my son with FOXP1 syndrome. We got the diagnosis when he was about 3 years old. And the first thing I did was look for the syndrome on the internet, of course, as everyone else. I found the foundation, signed in, and through the Facebook group, I could access the Spanish families WhatsApp group, where I found a couple of moms who were 3 years later willing to make our community grow and make it like sort of more official, more visible. And we decided to found the Spanish FOXP1 Association, where I serve as a secretary. So I feel that the importance of community is absolutely yes, important. That's the main thing we should keep in mind as a rare disease group of people. So I am happy to join the International FOXP1 board and to support the board in connecting communities, especially the Spanish-speaking communities. And I'll be doing this by leading a subgroup of South American ambassadors. And the idea here is to support them in their new role in anything they may need. Of course, promoting language accessibility and supporting with translation whenever it's needed. And last but not least, I will be helping out the new Italian ambassador in her role. I've been in close contact with the Italian community, and I'm trying to promote them to grow as a community and to possibly found their local FOXP1 community. So thank you all for listening, and Eric.
Thank you so much, Lorenzo. We are grateful for all you're contributing already to the foundation. And next, I would like to introduce Eric. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Brandy. My name is Eric Targon. In that bottom left, you can see a picture of my family. It's myself, my wife Paige, our son Marshall, and then Maggie, our daughter, who has FOXP1. Very brief overview of why I do this. When we were diagnosed in 2022, or sorry, 2024, the neurologist told us there's a Facebook group, and that's about all I know. So it kind of became a driving factor of this is what I need to do to raise awareness and ensure that no other parents from here on out have to hear, oh, there's just a Facebook group and that's that. There should be resources, all sorts of areas that we could help. So that's kind of why I joined IFF and why I wanted to help be a part of this. I'm originally from Southern California. I got an MBA from University of Southern California down there, and then I moved up to Eastern Washington, where my wife is from. Um, I want to excel in the networking and fundraising aspect of the IFF. I want to ensure that we have enough money to do the things we need to do for research for community. I am just a lousy sales guy who likes to talk to everybody. So that is my goal to ensure that everyone else can fix it. I will provide the money, hopefully. In my spare time, I love being a dad. It's the greatest job in the world. If I could play hockey and golf every single day for the rest of my life, then I could retire and that'll be that. But until then, I got to do this and try and make a difference. So I appreciate it. I hope I can make a difference. And Brandy, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, Eric. And I love the passion and the excitement and the joy that you bring to the foundation and to the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I would love to invite Gail to share more about who we serve and give an overview of our foundation.
Thanks, Brandy. I am Gail Clark. I'm in Canada, and I've been with the foundation since we started. And I would like to thank Eric and Lorenza and Benny for joining the foundation because we need new young families to join us. My son is turning 40 next week, so I've been at this game of parenting a person with disabilities for a long time, and I can just say that there's nothing more joyful for my husband and I when we met other families with FOXP1 and we saw the similarities between our kids. And I can look at all your little young kids and see my son when he was that age of 2 and 5 and whatever. It's just so the value of community is really important to me and to my husband. So with that, I've been always focused on the community. We have and so I want to talk about our membership. We have the IFF membership is actually at 788 today, and that includes moms, dads, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and professionals. We have about 29 professionals from around the world that also participate and read our newsletters. That's what the value of the membership is that you get our monthly newsletter and it gets you connected. You get on our distribution lists. So we really do encourage everyone to join the International Foundation. Many people are members of their national foundation and groups, and they are not members of the international, which is get that because our working language is English, and some people may not be familiar with the English languages and comfortable with it. So when I do the census count, it is not only just it's a membership, but I'm looking at how many FOXP1 individuals we have because you get mums and dads and aunts all relating to the same person. So it's how many people we have FOXP1 syndrome have been identified. This number, as of last week, was 938. That number is growing every day. We have new families joining the foundation every day. So we are quickly approaching 1,000 people that we know of in the world. The map shows you where they are. If you click, the map should be available on the website soon. And when you click on a country, it tells you how many are in that country. You can see the growth. This year we had a lot of growth because I've made contact with a mom in China, and there's 80 families that have been identified in her community in China. And we have an ambassador now from Japan, where we have 30 families in Japan that are connected, as well as each country is growing. We have a sprinkling of people around the globe. So we really are a very international community. And and everybody has the same problem. Nobody knows about it, and everybody wants connection. So the International Foundation is providing that connection. Next slide, please, Brandy. Our ambassador program, we've started that shortly after we started the foundation. And what the ambassador program is, it's a collection of parent volunteers in different countries that have volunteered to lead and connect with the FOXP1 families in their country. In fact, when the International Foundation started, there already was a group in the Netherlands, Germany, and France. So we have just incorporated them as, and we work together in building research and connecting our researchers and sharing knowledge about FOXP1. Our ambassador program is now growing, so we have 30 ambassadors supporting 27 countries, and you can see where they are all around the world. In fact, the Nordic countries, we have one ambassador overseeing that, which includes 5 countries. So they are your grassroots connection for your country, because every country's funding and medical services are unique. And so connect with your ambassador, learn about what kind of services, what happens when you're in school, it's one thing, and when they become adults, leave the school system, it's a whole different group of services. So it's really important to connect with your ambassadors. And they also are organizing meetups and arrange to connect with your local families. The ambassador program has expanded. We have, as I said, 30 ambassadors in the international program with 27 countries, but we now have a subgroup of Spanish-speaking countries. We have 5 countries and 7 ambassadors from Spain and South America that, and many of the South American ambassadors are new to the program in this year. So it's giving them some connection in their own native language to share ideas and to expand. They're all part of the ambassador program, but it gives them a subgroup to share ideas. We've also expanded to include a regional ambassador program, and this is a program so that we get support in a smaller region and local area. We have regional ambassadors in the United States, Canada, and Australia, so it's particularly where countries are physically very large. The regional ambassadors have their own states or provinces to support, and they are connecting with those people and organizing them. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please find your ambassador on our website and connect with them. Thanks. I'm going to hand off to Chris now. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Brandy, can you just confirm you can hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I just switched devices here, but yeah, it's a pleasure to speak to everybody here today. My name is Chris Sullivan. My wife Kelly and I have a daughter Haley who is now 22 years old. We're actually on vacation with her right now. You know, enjoying the fun that comes with travel with with one of our kids, and you know, continuing to learn the lessons of being a parent with one of these kids with the FOXP1 syndrome. So myself, you know, my daughter Haley was born in 2003, and at the time I entered a PhD program in biochemistry at Boston University. And so as it kind of became clear that Haley was dealing with some issues, I was intimate with the lab. My project was specifically focused on transcriptional regulation of a certain protein in a certain system. And so early on, we pushed for genetic testing for Haley. And at the time, genetic testing involved kind of screening for a limited number of known syndromes, and you know, it came up blank the first time, and then we repeated genetic testing several years later, and again, it was maybe a bigger panel of genes that were being looked at, but still turned up nothing. So it wasn't until 2020 that we were speaking, and I was. I work in biotech now, and I was telling my wife, let's do it one more time. And at this point, the whole exome sequencing had become available and was covered by our insurance. So we proceeded, and that's when we found out that Haley had a mutation in FOXP1, and connected us with this community, which for us was incredible. She was 16 at the time, and we'd gone through all that time with really not knowing what she was dealing with or what the root causes were. So given my background, I feel like I was able to have a better understanding than most in terms of what she was facing with the mutation in this protein. But that said, I was also able to appreciate how little is known about this protein and this syndrome. And so it's kind of what inspired me to be involved with the research arm of the foundation. So, and at the time when we started the foundation, Carl and I were the only two kind of with somewhat of a science background, and we were dealing with very limited numbers of known FOXP1 syndrome. I'd say it was closer to 200. So at the time, very small community, and we, basically, Carl was the first one to say, hey, shortly after we started the foundation, like we need to begin to focus on research and how we can connect with researchers and eventually fund research ourselves. And so Carl suggested, let's look for members to start a scientific advisory board. And at the time, I was a little skeptical. I was like, we were talking about a really rare disease and busy researchers. Like, it's going to be hard to find people that want to be involved, with a commitment like this. Well, our experience turned out to be the opposite. Just about everybody we reached out to, which included, very prestigious researchers that were involved with FOXP1 and related science. We got that enthusiastic participation. So over time, we built an amazing scientific advisory board that's very keyed in on the latest science. So with the scientific advisory board and members of our foundation, we started to kind of think about where we could start to make an impact. And the very first thing was collecting data and collecting the community. So, really our biggest strength was we had a small community, but we had a tight community. And we wanted a way to basically start to register folks, get information about their specific mutations and the things that they were dealing with. Because as we began to learn, our community had a lot of common struggles, but there's also a lot of unique struggles within the community. And we thought those may be tied to the specific type of mutation or other surrounding genetic factors. So through this effort, we first connected with RareX. So as it says here, RareX is a non-profit platform. It relies on members of this community registering with RareX, uploading your genetic report, and participating in different surveys and basically survey type questionnaires. And then that information can be accessed by the scientific community through partnership with RareX or through agreements with RareX. So RareX kind of controls the data, controls the privacy associated with that, and works with the scientific community to advance the science. So from our beginnings, I don't know the current number of people that have registered with RareX, but it's above the amount of people that were in the community originally when we got our diagnosis with Haley. So we continue to work with RareX. In addition, we began a relationship with Citizen Health, which is somewhat similar. It's gathering the community. They take a little bit of a different approach to how they gather information. It's a little bit more maybe user-friendly. Once you register, you can upload your medical records directly, and they will sort through them and compile data, which again can be accessed by the scientific community and eventually the pharmaceutical community to help us push therapeutics in the future. Go ahead and you can advance to the next slide. So as we continue to grow, and especially with the when Shamit Dasgupta joined our foundation through many generous donations from him and members of his family. Once we were able to combine those with donations we've received from the community, we were able to start our first research projects as a foundation. And some of those have been kind of targeted things that the foundation targeted for study. Thank you, Gail. Gail says, as of today, there are 290 persons registered in RareX. So thank you, Gail. So yeah, so with those first funds for research, we were able to do some very targeted studies, as well as put out a request for proposals to the scientific community, where people interested in studying FOXP1 could directly apply for funding, and then that allows it to go through a review process. We work with our scientific advisory board to review those proposals and identify projects for research funding. So as of today, we've managed to fund seven projects. These include projects where they're creating models of FOXP1. So we have two projects specifically that are working with organoid models. So an organoid is basically trying to take cells that carry FOXP1 mutations or knock, or equivalent knockdown of FOXP1, and then use those cells to create an organoid. An organoid is basically a mass of cells, and the idea is that it would be more representative of maybe the brain, or in our case, the brain, as a better model for testing different therapeutics than maybe just a layer of cells in a culture dish. So we've been working with folks on organoid models through collaboration with Genevieve Kanapka, who's now at UCLA. Genevieve already had a FOXP1 knockout mouse, so that's a mouse that she could conditionally knock out the expression of FOXP1 in certain cells in the brain. So that's, again, another model that we could use to test to see if we could introduce FOXP1 gene to try to look for changes, or eventually test other therapeutics. So in addition to, so those could support potential genetic therapy studies, which is, like I said, introducing FOXP1 through viral vector back to those models, but could also be used for drug candidate evaluation. So for one example, we have a group in Germany that's preparing organoids that are going to be used to test a specific inhibitor, enzymatic inhibitor, that they think might have a positive effect on individuals with reduced FOXP1 expression. And then, in addition to that, we are funding two more qualitative assessments. So one is a natural history study, which we're going there. The little inset here, the found study. There's going to be an informational session coming up next week. I apologize, I can't read the writing. I think it's March 11th, 11th or 12th. Brandy, feel free to.
12th. It's on Thursday.
12th. Okay,
Thursday at
yes.
8 o'clock, and we'll have that in another slide. But please go ahead.
Yes, great. So that natural history study is going to actually participate with the community and track, over time different changes with FOXP1 and the types of therapies that those individuals are getting. And it's a great first step to, eventually, if we do have a drug candidate, we need to understand kind of the progression of FOXP1, but also if you're going to test something, you need to have distinct things to measure to show that it's having some positive effect. And so between the natural history study and then also the second item there, the clinical global impression scale, is also aimed at identifying specific things that we can measure to understand if a treatment is actually working or not. So those are the currently funded projects. In more recent months, Shamit has also started a separate foundation, the FMRF, that we're going to continue to work with to try to fund additional projects, probably continuing to fund some of these ongoing projects, but look for additional projects to fund. So go ahead to the next slide. So in that, we're working with our scientific advisory board to continue to review the ongoing studies, but also identify additional studies for funding going forward. And I really, like I said, this scientific advisory board is a very impressive group of individuals, and none of them have been shy with their time. They've really been wonderful members of the community where we've had community meetings. Many of them will come to the meetings, present to the families, present on webinars. They've been fantastic people and really bright, cutting edge scientists in this group. So we're really fortunate to have them and to have their participation in ongoing work.
Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you giving an overview of our research projects and the ones we're funding and where we're headed, and for also thanking our wonderful scientific advisory board. I'd like to invite Gail to join us back here to talk a little bit more about what we do and our community engagement.
Great, thanks, Brandy. And as the folks can see, we have two focuses, research and community. And it's just a great way of including everything. And we all intertwine and work well together. As I talked about in the community engagement, we have our ambassador program of parent volunteers and engaging the community on a lot of local on meetups or onlines or webinars. So we look at many different ways that we can engage the community. We have a lot of variety of how we group our community by age, that the parents of similar age children want to be in the same chat group, or maybe, and another big one is our grandparents group. Grandparents are such an amazing resource for all of us. As parents, as special needs children, we are all incredibly exhausted. We've got so much to do. So being able to bring your grandparents in or the aunts or uncles in and help with help your child by helping the foundation, it's a great way to help find volunteers and to help our community engagement and development. So interacting with all these different groups and volunteers is so as any member of the family or friend can volunteer. You don't have to be a parent to volunteer with this foundation. We're looking for volunteers from all sorts. So the large projects that we do is we have a family conference every 2 years. So we had one in 23, 25, 2025 was our last one. We just had last June, and we in the Netherlands, and thanks to the two Dutch ambassadors, Esther and Annemiek, and their friends, they organized an amazing conference for 2 days with 200 attendees traveling from 15 countries and 3 continents. The structure of our family conferences are great because what we do is we, you as the participant, you come with you, but you and your family, or come by yourself, as only one parent can attend. You pay for your own, you're responsible for your transportation to the conference yourself, and you're responsible for your accommodations. The foundation then will fund all the food, childcare, and the event, and bring in all the guest speakers. We will host you for the day-and-a-half conference and we'll take your children. Your children are off on activities with the appropriate age group, the appropriate level of abilities, and with caregivers at a great ratio. And we provide daycare for your children so that you can attend the conference and sit and focus and listen to all these experts that Chris was talking about and about the research projects that we're doing, and really absorb and learn about your FOXP1 syndrome. The most valuable benefit of the conference that parents have said after attending the 2 that we've had, it's networking and meeting other parents. That is the biggest benefit that we all have when we come away from a conference. So with that, the success of the 2025, our next conference is in June of 2027, June 25th to the 27th, and we were hosting it in Canada. My husband and I found this wonderful resort called the Fern Resort. Google it, find it online. It's a family resort north of Toronto. So it's an hour-and-a-half, 2-hour drive north of Toronto International Airport. And you come in on the Friday afternoon for a meet and greet around the pool. Saturday's a full day of conference and breakout sessions. Sunday morning will be sessions, and then after lunch we will break, and you will be going home with lots of new families and friends and a wealth of knowledge about FOXP1 syndrome. So we encourage you all, and we invite you all to come to Canada for our 2027 conference. Thank you, Brandy. I'm now over to Claire.
Thanks so much, Gail.
Hi, everyone. I'm Claire, and I help with the development, fundraising, awareness, and communications for the foundation. I'm grateful to be here and a part of this community. I have an almost 3-year-old daughter with FOXP1 syndrome. I want to highlight something special for this year. March 13th is going to be our first ever FOXP1 Syndrome Awareness Day. This is a really important milestone, and it gives us a unified moment to raise visibility, share information, and help more people understand FOXP1 syndrome and its impact on our families. Awareness really matters. It helps families feel less isolated, supports earlier diagnosis and services, and it strengthens our research efforts. Please be sure to follow us on social media this week to see how you can get involved. Um, I also want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has donated and hosted fundraisers, volunteered, or just shared information. Your support really drives the work that we're doing in this foundation. On the fundraising front, due to some community feedback, we are going to change our annual 5K for FOXP1. We typically host that in August, and we're going to shift it to September this year and kind of expand it into a month-long event, giving families and teams some more flexibility and ways to participate. There is going to be some more information about that coming in the next several months. I just want to say thank you again for being here and supporting the foundation, and I will pass it back over to Cheryl or Brandy.
Thanks so much, Claire. I just want to make sure, Cheryl, is your mic working?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So community connections, and this is something that we are ever expanding, building out, trying to reach as many different platforms as possible. We have a presence on, most of you know, the Facebook group. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram. We are on TikTok and YouTube. We have a LinkedIn presence. And I believe there are a few people on Snapchat. We have started, or actually, Facebook and Meta revamped their Messenger platform. So we kind of took that as an opportunity to build that out and reestablish a couple groups. We have a mom's chat group on Messenger. We have a dad's chat group. We also have a group for parents of school-aged children. And the Messenger chat, you can follow that, or you find that through Facebook. It's a little bit more direct and a little bit less clunky than posting questions on Facebook. So some people have found this to be a good way to communicate. We also, especially our international communities, use WhatsApp. So some of you may already be in those groups. We have WhatsApp and WeChat. So if you haven't yet found a place to connect a little bit more directly, maybe a little bit more privately with people, check in with your ambassador or other people from your country, because more than likely there is a group for you to join separate from the Facebook group. I will also just put a quick kind of shout out there. If you are not receiving a monthly newsletter in your email each month, please, after this meeting, go to our website and sign up for the foundation so that you get that newsletter. That's one of the best sources really to keep up with monthly information. So I would just really encourage you to make sure that that's coming right. It will come via email to your inbox. And I think that kind of covers most of our communications, but I think we do have something for everyone. So, and if for some reason you have another idea, please share it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for talking about community and the connections. It's really the heart of the foundation. And building on those connections, we've been working on several new programs and projects this year. And in the next few slides, I want to give kind of a brief overview of a few things that are currently underway. So first, I'll share some highlights from our 2026 community survey and what we've learned from the families who've completed that survey. You'll also get to hear from Jill, who is a genetic counseling student intern from the University of Pennsylvania, who's been helping us review the research priorities that were identified through the survey, among many other projects that she's helping us with this semester. After that, I'll highlight a group of students that we're working with through the University of Notre Dame's Rare Project Network. And the students are helping to support an important effort the foundation has begun, which is to pursue an ICD-10 code for FOXP1 syndrome. I'm also excited to share that we've been awarded a rare giving grant through the EveryLife Foundation for Rare Diseases, which helps to support that effort of pursuing an ICD-10 code. And we're also working in partnership with the FOXP1 Medical Research Foundation on the project. So many of these efforts and priorities, were identified by the community as part of the strategic plan for 2024 to 2027. And Kate will give an update on that later in the presentation. I'm going to hop to our next slide here and share a little bit about, what comes next. So the community survey, thank you to everyone who took the time to complete it. Hearing directly from families really helps to guide how the foundation shares knowledge, supports the families that are part of the community, advances research, and raises awareness. So we received responses from families across many different countries. The survey reflects families with loved ones of various ages and at different stages of their journey since diagnosis. When we asked about community programming priorities and how the foundation could support families, nearly 70% of respondents shared that opportunities to connect with other families, such as meetups and support groups, are one of the most important things the foundation can provide. Families also shared that practical information and resources are incredibly helpful. So, covering topics like guardianship, estate planning, and transitioning to adulthood. And many respondents highlighted the importance of continuing to increase the information about FOXP1 for clinicians and researchers. Before we cover the research priorities identified in the survey, I'm excited to share about our partnership. Let me go to the next slide here, with the Orphan Disease Center's Genetic Counseling Student Exchange Program. The main objective of that program is to engage future genetic counselors in rare disease advocacy and raise awareness about the need to support rare disease foundations and organizations and affected families like the FOXP1 community. So it's my pleasure to introduce our GCSX advocacy intern, Jillian Carrick, who is a first-year genetic counseling student at the University of Pennsylvania. She's with us for 10 weeks as part of her internship, and she'll connect with FOXP1 families and collaborate with the foundation to develop clear, accessible educational materials about genetics and FOXP1 syndrome. And she's also contributing to efforts to encourage patient-reported health data for research. So Jill, please take it away.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Brandy. Hello, everybody. I'm Jill, and like Brandy said, I'm in my first year of training to become a genetic counselor. I'm calling in from Philadelphia, where I'm going to school, and I know we have people from all over the world in this community, so I'm so grateful to be here with you all. This is such an enriching experience for my training, so I'm so grateful. You can go ahead and to the next slide, please. Thank you. And so I just wanted to share a little bit more about me, my interests, and what I've been working on so far. I'm really interested in rare disease advocacy and community engaged research. And through my training so far in genetic counseling, I've become especially interested in how we can make genetics information more accessible and digestible for families. And so one thing that's really important to me through this internship is learning directly from the FOXP1 community about the kinds of information that are most meaningful and helpful to you. And so hearing these different perspectives helps guide these resources that I'm developing so they can be useful and relevant as possible and will directly address questions that families have. And so I've started this internship just about a month ago now. And so a huge part of this experience so far has been listening and learning from the community as I began working on these projects. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out on social media for opportunities to share your questions about these foundational genetics concepts and how they relate back to FOXP1. And so, in addition to beginning to develop some of these Genetics 101, FOXP1 syndrome informational resources, which I'm really excited to eventually share with you all, I've also been reviewing the responses, like Brandy said, from this recent community survey to better understand where these research priorities lie for families. And I'll touch on that on the next slide. And over the next few weeks, I will also be highlighting those ways to participate in research through these partnerships that we've mentioned already so far with RareX and Citizens Health, which relies greatly on community engagement to support these research efforts. So there'll be more to come and links for these websites for these partnerships later on as well. So you can go ahead and get to the next one. Thank you. And so we heard from Chris a little bit about the current ongoing research projects, and I wanted to give a preview of the insights that we've gathered so far for future and additional research priorities. This information, again, is from that FOXP1 community survey. And so, as you may recall, if you were one of the respondents, one of the questions in the survey asked survey participants to rank these broad research themes that you'll see listed on the left side from top to bottom, which were the different research themes. And so people were asked to rank these from or by importance. And so the taller bars on this graph on the left are indicating the highest priority themes. And so on the right is a slightly different interpretation of that same question, where we were showing the percentage of respondents that ranked each of those research areas somewhere in their top 3 priorities. And so I did want to just point out that I think what stands out is that many people prioritize research that helps us better understand the FOXP1 gene itself, both how the gene works and what the condition looks like across individuals over time, which would be represented through those natural history studies. And so areas such as drug discovery and clinical trials are absolutely still important, as we can see in these graphs here. And I think building that really strong foundation of knowledge about the condition seems to be the most important. So it's really important to consider. And community voices and opinions are what helps guide researchers on what they should focus on and where the research is headed next. And so I think it's really important to make this information about what we do know from this current existing research in a way that's broken down in a way that is more accessible to families. And that's how I'm going to guide my educational resources with what I'm working on next. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's been wonderful getting to know you and work with you over the past month. And I also want to thank Chris for serving as a scientific mentor to you through this internship. And again, we're so grateful to have you on the team.
Thank you. It's been so great to work with everyone so far.
Thank you, Jill. So I also want to take this time to highlight another partnership we're excited about this year, which is with the University of Notre Dame's Rare Project Network. And so through this program, a team of 10 students is working with the foundation on several projects. First, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank the students. So they're all listed here. I won't go through all their names, but I do want to mention Kathleen Burfield. She's the lead student who I've had the opportunity to work with closely. And, we meet on a weekly basis to talk about the projects they're working on. And we're so grateful for the time that their entire team has dedicated to the FOXP1 community. So the students are working on 2 important initiatives. The first is helping to develop an ICD-10 code resource guide and infographic, along with helping develop an ICD-11 migration strategy. So a little bit about what an ICD-10 code is. You may have seen this information on social media or shared in our newsletter, but it's how a condition is formally recognized within healthcare systems. It supports accurate medical documentation, improves data collection, and helps open doors to services, research, and coverage. So for rare disease communities, it's a critical step towards visibility and understanding. And these materials that the students are developing will help explain the importance of diagnostic coding and support our efforts to pursue an ICD-10 code for FOXP1 syndrome. The second project focuses on developing a project plan for an externally led patient-focused drug development meeting. These meetings provide opportunities for patients and families to share their lived experience so that those perspectives can help inform drug development and regulatory decision making. So again, I want to thank our Rare Project Network interns this semester who are helping us. And now I'd like to introduce Kate Mowry, who is our Vice President and will be providing an update on our strategic plan.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Kate Mowry, Vice President, also on the board. My son is 9 years old and has FOXP1, and I've been here since the start of our foundation in 2020. I have the easy job here today to basically tell you all that we're on track with our strategic plan. I guess a couple years after we got started in 2020, we decided, all right, we're a growing group here. We've got to have some pillars and plans for going forward and what we want to focus on. We put together a strategic plan for 2024 to 2027. It is on our website, and it's a great piece of material that I encourage you to go take a look at, just so that you know what our goals are. And we will be revisiting that very soon because we're almost to 2027. As I said, and as you've heard today, we've really met a lot of our strategic plan goals, and we're continuing to work on them. There are 4 pillars: research, community building, support, and information sharing, as well as just continuing to sustain the organization. In terms of our infrastructure and sustaining our organization, some highlights are mentioned here in the presentation, but a large one is that we hired our first executive director. We've expanded our board. We've added ambassadors, key volunteers, and interns. We've formalized key processes, policies, and programming, and we've implemented a customer relationship management system, which creates a huge amount of efficiency for the organization. In terms of information sharing, we have refreshed the website, and actually it's an ongoing project that we're doing. You can go to the next slide. In terms of research, you've heard from Chris and others about all the exciting research that we have lined up, and that we're working with CFRM on as well, or FMRF, sorry. And then in terms of community engagement, we've also been making great strides. We've enhanced our ambassador and volunteer outreach and opportunities, established the annual survey so we get community feedback, because we really want, I think, our main goal here is to reflect those that are members in this organization. And so it's really important for us to engage. We've rolled out structured communications plan for all messaging. We have a great communications team right now, and our LinkedIn and Facebook programs and outlines have been much more organized, and we're excited about that. We refined the IFF sub-team roles for better community connections, and the team is hard at work programming for the 2027 family meeting. So I think we have a lot to look forward to. We appreciate everyone's support so far, and I think we're on our way with a strategic plan, and we'll be updating you in the next year or two with a continued strategy.
Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate you providing the overview, recap, and update on our strategic plan. So next, I'm going to talk about just kind of a financial overview. So one of the things that makes rare disease organizations unique is that nearly all of the funding, comes from the community we serve. And so in 2025, charitable contributions, so that's just donations from the community, accounted for over 94% of our total revenue, which really reflects the commitment of the families and those who support the families who believe in our mission. As a nonprofit organization in the United States, so I know we have many international members in our community, so I just want to share a little bit about how nonprofits operate in the US. We're often referred to as the third sector, and nonprofits help to fill gaps where government services and funding may be limited. For our foundation, that means that grassroots support, so fundraising, of all amounts from families and donors is essential to sustaining the work that we do. And so first and foremost, thank you so much for the generosity. It makes everything that we've talked about today possible, and we wouldn't be here without your support. Next, I want to look a little more closely about where support comes from. So the majority of donations, about 67.8%, go directly toward the research fund, which helps to drive progress in that area. About 25% of contributions support our general fund, which allows the foundation to operate programs, support families, and respond to emerging needs. So that would include things like our family conference. We also see support through merchandise sales that helps to raise awareness. So I want to thank Susan for her work on that. And that makes up a little over 5% of the revenue that we bring in. And then stock donations represent a little less than 2%. But each of these contributions plays an important role into, again, sustaining the mission of the organization. Next is a preliminary view of our expenses. So on the expenses side, we remain committed to ensuring that the majority of funding goes directly towards advancing the mission. And so in 2025, more than 90% of expenses supported program services. That includes research initiatives, community programs. Fundraising costs remain intentionally low, reflecting our commitment to maximizing the impact of every dollar that's raised, every donation that's made. And the numbers shown here are preliminary figures. Final numbers will be available in our 2025 IRS Form 990 filing. And I also want to take a moment to thank Adam Mowry for his service as treasurer over the past 6 years. So he helped to found the organization and has managed the finances very well and served this foundation very well. And I would like everyone to please thank him if you see him or reach out to him. And we'll have an announcement in an upcoming newsletter, again, thanking him for his service. And with that, I'm also excited to welcome Jacob Paver, who is the foundation's new treasurer. So again, please look for an announcement in our upcoming newsletter and on social media. With that in mind, I'm going to turn things back over to Cheryl, who will give us an overview of what we can look forward to in 2026.
Lots of great stuff coming up. And we will encourage those that are able to participate in the Found Study webinar, and you will need to register for that. So hopefully you can get on and do that. And then it is exciting. This is our first big FOXP1 Awareness Day on the 13th of March. So keep an eye out for that information on how we can spread the word and have really an effective message and bringing awareness to FOXP1 syndrome. What will be really exciting, we are updating and upgrading our website. So do watch for a new website relaunch. And I think the goal is sometime mid-year, that process, we are in the process, it's moving forward, and we are all really looking forward to that. There will be a summer UCLA researcher-focused scientific symposium, and that is sponsored by the FMRF. So we just wanted you to be aware that that was going on. It really is geared towards scientists and researchers, but we look forward to sharing information of what comes of that and what they cover and what goes on there. Something that is a new change or sort of a bigger change in mid to late 2026, we have always had one of our main sort of fundraising weekends has historically been in August, but that date is moving to September. So watch for that information. We encourage people to organize local events, runs, walks. There are any number of things that are possible. It's not limited to run and walk, but we do encourage people to focus on that weekend and really we put in place some tools to help organize. So be watching for that. And then the big crescendo here is the family conference that will be coming in 2027. So that information is coming together. That will be shared in the newsletter. It will be shared on our website and on the social media. So there are some really exciting events coming up, and we encourage everyone to participate and be involved.
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for giving the overview of looking ahead this year. And as Cheryl mentioned, please sign up for our newsletter so that you can be up to date on all of the events and information. And I want to say before we wrap up today, I want to share a few ways that you can get involved. So, Cheryl did mention some of those opportunities and options that are available, and I want to highlight a few. So one, you can participate in research. So I'll share more on the next slide, ways that you can get involved. Chris has talked about those as part of our research portion of our community. And the next slide will have kind of, to-do items on ways to get involved in research today. You can also volunteer. So whether that's through events, advocacy efforts, or community programs, there's many ways to get involved. And of course, donations help to sustain the foundation's work, support research, and programs. So each of these are QR codes here are linked, so you can scan them and learn more about, again, how to get involved. So I'm going to go on to the next slide, which has kind of more direct ways that you can get involved today. One is, joining the foundation. So you can get involved by joining the foundation to receive the updates that we've mentioned, but also information about the latest research, family stories, upcoming events, and general foundation news. This also allows you to be added to our FOXP1 census. So the census information that Gail shared earlier comes from those who do join the foundation, and it's an important tool that helps us better understand the needs of the community, advocate for greater awareness, support, and resources for families with FOXP1. You can join RareX. So again, each of these QR codes you can scan and join today. So RareX is a secure patient-reported data platform. It collects information about your child's genetics, symptoms, medical history, and daily experiences. It's directly from you. And so it's firsthand insight, which is essential to helping researchers understand the full picture of FOXP1 and identify patterns that might otherwise be missed. We also partner with Citizen Health, which is a clinician-reported data platform designed to build a more complete medical understanding of FOXP1 syndrome. You can securely share medical records and clinical insights directly from your child's healthcare providers, and it allows researchers to gain access and insight to high-quality, standardized data, and this helps to complement the patient-reported data of RareX. So it is important to sign up for both. But the patient-reported, which is the RareX, and then clinician-reported data from Citizen Health. So now we would love to hear from you. So please, if you have a question, feel free to drop that in the chat. You can also unmute yourself at this time if you'd like to ask myself or any member of our team here any question. Thank you so much. Yes, there will be a recording of the meeting available. So we'll send that out in the newsletter. It will be available on our YouTube channel. We'll share it on social media, and you'll also find it on our website. Great question. Thank you so much, Julio. Thank you. I'm so grateful everyone has joined today and taken time out of their Saturday to be here. It's really important and wonderful to see so many people register for the event.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to introduce myself. I'm Viola, and we just found out that our daughter, I'm from Italy, she's 6 years old, and she has the FOXP1 mutation. In only one gene is normal, and the other one has the disorder. So yes, I'm happy that there is a foundation and there are so many people interested on finding a solution, and also that there is a big community to, share our problems, let's say so, and also solutions. So thank you, everyone.
Welcome to the community.
Thanks, Viola.
Gail, there's a question about when people should start booking their stays for the Canada meeting.
Thanks, Carl. I saw that.
Okay.
We are planning to open the registration in midsummer, July or August, simply to make it very clear that it's not 2026 of June, but it's 2027. It's next year. But we will be opening our registration, and that the rooms are being held for us until so we'll be opening in end of the summer, mid of summer, and you can book your rooms then. Most definitely. And we're hoping there is a limited number of spaces available, 270. So we will be definitely looking at first come, first serve, and hoping to fill the resort. So it's all, everybody that will be there that weekend will be all FOXP1 community.
Hey, Brandy, this is Abhishek. I have a question. Sorry.
Hi, Abhishek. It's great to see you again.
Yes, it's here. So, is there any plan of sharing the results of those projects which the foundation has funded?
The research projects. Let me ask Chris and Carl maybe to speak to the research portion.
Sure, I can dive in. So a couple of things. So some of these many of the projects are still ongoing, so there isn't really a concrete set of results yet. Biology sometimes takes a long time, as you may know. But we do, of course, plan to share summaries. We may even have the funded researchers themselves present their findings in a community-facing webinar. I think that would be great. On that note, and going back to the 2027 meeting, we have started as the planning committee thinking through, who would be good speakers for the sessions at the in-person meeting in Canada. And we would like to include, a couple of the projects, the researchers whose projects are furthest along by then to present their results, so you can have live Q&A as well.
Thank you.
I see there's several questions just coming through the chat asking about the webinar on March 12th that's about the FOUND study. It will be on Zoom and it will be recorded. You do need to register. And Claire, thank you for dropping the link to register for that meeting in the chat.
And then the recording will be posted to the website afterwards for later viewing if you can't make it at that time.
Yes. Seeing if there were any other questions. Someone also asked about the Instagram. You can find our social channels on the website, but we also have them in the newsletter that we send out monthly. Happy to answer any additional questions, but want to be respectful of everyone's time, again, for dedicating your Saturday to the FOXP1 community. Well, if you do think of any questions after today's meeting, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always contact info@foxp1.org, as well as any member of our board or myself, and I'm happy to drop my email in the chat as well. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. I'm so grateful, and it's, again, wonderful to meet each of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop the recording.